Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of Driving Perilously, the show in which we turn on the camera and talk about what it is that's happening. What's happening is I'm on my way to listen to some Christmas music. Mostly Christmas music recorded in the 50s, 60s, but still sounding like the 50s. And a little bit of 70s, but in that 70s artists doing their thing in the old traditional style for the most part, not trying to sound like people from the 70s, but people from the 70s trying to sound like the old standards. So Bing Crosby, Nat King Cole, The Temptations, trying to do White Christmas, Ella Fitzgerald, Dean Martin, a little Pat Boone, a little Ed Ames, a lot of Andy Williams, Doris Day, Connie Francis. And I bring that up because I just came from a place that was playing music that was annoying me. And, you know, when you're in a public place, let's say a fast food restaurant, and they're playing music, you don't really have the right to decide what music they play. You don't really have the opportunity to put a nickel in the machine and pick your own song like they used to do at certain places. Remember those places where right at your booth there would be a little jukebox and you could choose what would play in the restaurant from your table? Well, that's just not the setup that most people ever had, and they don't have that setup anymore. So if you walk into a place and they're playing music you don't like, you don't really have a choice. You just either leave or sit there and listen to the music. So lately I've been going into a couple restaurants that have been using Fabuloso. Fabuloso is a cleaner with a strong smell. I remember Pine Sol is a cleaner with a strong smell, but its smell doesn't really bother me. Lysol is a cleaner with a strong smell. So lots of cleaners with strong smells. But this particular one, the smell just immediately makes me want to sneeze. I can hardly breathe. You know, certain smells bother certain people. It's odd because this product is sold too clean, and I'm sure it wouldn't be on the market if most people that used it didn't feel that it was cleaning. But to me, it just hits me like a poison, and I just can't breathe very well, and I should probably leave the room. So I've been doing that. Pull into a place, open the door, smell that smell that makes me have trouble breathing, and just decide, well, I don't think I should sit in there. Well, today I'm listening to this music. I walk in and they're playing some self-indulgent, whining song by some successful artist who's complaining that somebody doesn't like them or broke up with them or something. And it just hits me that this constant barrage of music wherever we go, certain smells hit certain people in certain ways, and certain music hits certain people in certain ways. And how many people are depressed just because they hear depressing music? And if we just avoided it, what would be going on in our thought life? that we are covering up, or what are we missing from our own thoughts because we're constantly barraged with music. And I remember when Muzak was popular, and it was songs that you wouldn't hear on the radio. So it was like you go into a grocery store or a restaurant, a public place, and they wouldn't be playing songs that the radio would play. But now it seems like it's rare that you hear instrumentals anymore. It's rare that you don't hear a song that used to be on the radio. One of the top 40 hits from the past, maybe, but it still used to be on top 40 radio. So I'm listening to these artists complain in these songs that are written for teenagers, and I'm thinking, what is this doing to me that I'm not aware of? Just like the smells that people are allergic to, what is it doing to their immune system or their general health, being surrounded with these smells and sounds and so forth. I remember hearing that we are increasing our cognitive ability. I don't know how exactly to say it, but it's better for your mind to be outside than it is to be inside. I think it was in the context of aging and dementia and keeping an active mind. So I think the article was saying that if you're trying to stay younger longer, or stay active longer, or if you're trying to build up your mind, stop it from declining with age, to spend time outside. And I thought, what in the heck would that matter? But I think what that points to is that when we're in our own room, or by ourselves in our living room, or in our own house, we're in control of all of the things that we are not in control of when we're outside of our house. So in other words, in our living room, in our bedroom, we control the temperature, we control what's around us. We immediately notice when something's new, because if you go in your refrigerator and there's something there that you didn't put there, you'd notice it. But in the outside world, there's many, many, many things that we are not in control of. If we're in a public place, the people that walk by, the things that they say, the things that they do are of their own volition. So in our own room, the wind's probably not going to blow the curtain, but it might. But when we're outside, there's thousands of leaves that could rustle. There's animals that could go by. There's people that could go by. There's traffic. There's all these variables that we're not in control of. So I think when we're out and about, rather than being isolated, our mind is focusing on more things, and it's turning off. It's focusing on certain things and leaving other things unfocused upon. So I think there's more data going on in our minds, subconsciously and consciously, than when we're in a controlled environment that we're very familiar with. And I think that's the difference that they're coming across. I don't think you necessarily are using your mind more if you're in a forest versus a chatty cafe, but I think that you are using your mind more than if you're in your own quiet house. So I think that's what they're getting at. So we're surrounded by these stimuli everywhere, And if we're in control of them or not in control of them, then our mind is being used to keep track of them or not keep track of them. So it's really just the unexpected. There's value in subjecting yourself, or there's value in being around things that are unexpected as opposed to limiting the stimuli to whatever is in your own control. So those smells, the ones that particularly get me, are bleach, gasoline, flowery perfumes, and Fabuloso. So will it strengthen my health to add some of those unwanted stimuli, or listen to those songs that I don't like? Or will it strengthen my health to eliminate those from exposure? It is true that when we're exposed to something, we're less sensitive to it. And we don't hate it as much as we hated it at first. We can desensitize ourselves to anything. And what's the difference between education, acculturation, acclimation, desensitization, whatever that word is? What's the difference? Well, it's just the first time it's shocking, and then the second and third and fourth time it's not as shocking, whatever it is. I mean, think about scary movies, we used to call them when I was kids. And now, the only thing scary about Jaws is the music, which is terrifying, but the actual image of the shark is like, doesn't even look like a shark. It looks like a, I don't know, puppet or something. The risque images that we've seen, the loud screaming vocalists that we've heard, all those things have just desensitized us to really everything as the decades have gone by. So I'm on my way to listen to Christmas music and not be annoyed with the whining teenage angst of most love songs, pop love songs. And I guess that's it for this episode. It is approaching the middle of December, and the holiday season is in full swing. Hope everybody's doing well. We'll catch you on the next one.